Right, a quick heads up. The audio you're about to listen to now was recorded at 1 AM at night while people were sleeping in the house, so you might get a bit of an ASMR vibe while not getting too much, emphasis on my voice, if that makes sense. So keep that in mind and I hope you enjoy the video. I want you to go back to my Lex video and remember the part that I said around the 6-minute mark. I mean, if you watch it, it helps me with the watch time, but for the ease of you, dear viewers, here's what I said. Lawman implies there is law in the realm, meaning Crosswind, which is what the realm is called, has to either have a government or a monarch system. So, viewers, today we can answer the question, and the answer has been under our noses this whole time. This thought of government versus monarchy actually occurred to me while I was recording the Ash and Fernando video, and was originally even in the video. But the more I researched into it, the more details emerged and the video became way too long. So here I am with a separate video on its own. What we must first do is identify what is a monarchy and what is the government in the Paladins universe. This was something that was actually solved by the OB51 patch. Starting with what piqued my curiosity, it was actually Harris Holt when he was mentioning the backstory of Ash. Even though it was less than 5 sentences, there was a particular thing he said which stood out to me the most. She will anchor the army of the magistrate. While this statement doesn't mean much on its own, doing a simple definition search of the magistrate will tell us a lot. The term magistrate is used in a variety of systems of governments and laws to refer to a civilian officer who administers the law. So we have our government and needs a monarchy. Well, where do we look? Well, we could look at Bomb King as a monarchy. His card art isn't anything special, well, not yet. So we can look to use Ash and Fernando, the champions I found those from, as our base. So what do we know from their card art? Well, we know they fought together in an unknown war and won. The army is the magistrate, which was told by Holt, and we need to find the other one. And for this we need to get nitpicky. Look in the card art and we can see the prominent red imagery, but in the corner we see another very minor colour, purple. Does this matter, and more importantly, does it help us with anything else? Now, this is where it gets interesting. A couple of weeks ago I went on a vacation to Rome, and one of the main parts of the trip was visiting the Vatican. Well, in a tour of the Vatican museums, it was mentioned that the colour purple has a special place in history. It's a colour that has been reserved mainly for royalty, power and wealth. Now, if we look back at the magistrates, you must be thinking that only in name similarity is not enough, so we can look at the historical use of the colour red. Better yet, we can even narrow it down to the exact shade of red. Again, this is with the help of the OB51 patch, and from a place you wouldn't expect it, the new mount to be specific. Again, this is a bit of a jump, but the mount is called Scarlet Charger. So why am I so certain that this mount is the same mount used in the war? Well, two things. Number one, if you look at Fernando's card art for Cavalier, you can see this mount again. And number two, you can just outright buy the mount. See, the thing with the mounts are, the previous mounts were blocked behind some sort of promotion or chest. So you can get the black mount from YouTube, you can get the unicorn from the Valentine's chest, and you get the Flame Horse mount from the Founders Pack. They're all locked, but this is the first mount you can just buy, and it makes sense as well. So now we can use the shade of red as Scarlet. I mean, come on, it's not the Scarlet I would prefer, but hey, we manage every day. Anywho, looking at the usage of the Scarlet in history and its symbolism, we can see it's associated with courage, force and passion. If we look at its use, we can see Scarlet is the main colour in the British Guard, the Royal Canadian Police and the National Guard of Bulgaria. I mean, Scarlet is also the colour of the robes worn by the cardinals, but that's a different thing, while also relating to my Rome trip. Being associated with these things doesn't exactly scream royal, and with the addition, it's used by military/police forces in the world. It's a safe assumption to make that the red in Paladins is the government, while the purple is a monarchy. So, were the magistrates successful is the next question. And for that we need to, jog our memories a bit. So, if your memories are super amazing, or you just pay attention to the fine details, what does Lex say to Bomb King when he kills him?
Monarchies are outdated and corrupt governances.
So, from this we can assume that the monarch system has ended and Lex is post-war. But for a war this big, having just 2 champions doesn't seem right, does it? There must be surely more champions who were involved in this war. Quite a few other champions have evidence of a castle siege, shown in Ash and Fernando. Only one other champion has connections with this war for sure. Barak. Now, I'm not going to expand on this too much for one main reason. Barak and Fernando were some of the champions that got their card art before OB47. Now, this is important because this was the patch where all of the temporary card art was replaced with proper art we see now. So any card art prior to OB47 can't be trusted too much in terms of lore, but that's the main reason we only used one of Fernando's card art in the Ash and Fernando video. Now, with this theory, the title of Fernando also starts to make sense. He is called the self-appointed knight, and considering he was part of the magistrate, to begin with, he could never be appointed knight, could he? Now, with war out of the way, Fernando is basically retired and he just travels around the realm. For most of the ladies, because, you know, that's what we're known. Because he already has the armor, he will call himself a knight and people end up believing it. And you know, he's right in a sense. He held the magistrate and he won, so you know, technically a knight. So yeah, the realm, Crosswind, is under the rule of a government of some kind. There are other species which we don't know and how they live, which are Willow, Inara, Makoa, Drogos, just to name a few. But for human-like champions, it's the government system. And this should be all from me, champions, for this video. Remember, this is just a theory, and when the lore is finally released, we could be 100% wrong. So you know, don't count on it too much. In the meantime, it's just nice to make theories on this. If you liked the video, then do press the like button, and if you didn't like it, the dislike button is right there as well. If you're feeling really generous, you can subscribe to me as well for more lore theories and other types of videos as well. Till next time, Theorists, I will see you all in the realm.